There's just so much to talk about. I can't even make up a witty intro. You're listening to Star Wars Reactions.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
In 1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
The Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true. All of it.
One of resistance.
We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down.
Rebellion.
Rebellion is built on hope.
And redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Star Wars Reactions. Man, there's so much to talk about. I don't even know where to begin. This is going to be so much fun. This is an episode I have been waiting to record for days. That's so much to talk about. Let's get the intros done first. My name is Aaron Harris. I am one of your hosts here at Star Wars Reactions, and joining me is my co-host. He's the Rex to my Ahsoka. He is the David Motters. David, how's it going, buddy?
It is going. We do, man. I'm ready to react. There's a lot of reactions. Too many for one night, but we'll get in as many as we can. And a lot of news and a lot of episode to cover here.
Oh, there certainly is a lot of news. There's a lot of episode. And we got, they just really cranked it out this week. And we're going to do our best to get it all covered for you here live on Star Wars Reactions. So let's just go ahead and jump into our news segment. We got a lot of news to discuss real quick. Some of the biggest news was an announcement coming up for May 4th. Of course, May 4th, May the 4th be with you, is coming up, of course, on May 4th. It is a huge day. Star Wars Day is world-renowned as being Star Wars Day, and there's usually a lot of things happening depending on where you are. Haven't heard much about what's going on this year because of all the stay-at-home orders and preventative measures and stuff in place because of the corona. But we did get an announcement from Disney Plus, and this was actually two huge announcements. First off, of course, is the series finale. Hear this. Series finale of Star Wars: The Clone Wars will be airing on May 4th. Now, traditionally, it airs on Fridays, which it would have been May 8th. But this time, for the series finale, it will be airing on Monday, May 4th. Okay? So don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a great day for Star Wars. It'll be a sad day because we'll see the end of the Clone Wars. But I'm not going to say anything else because I'll save it for my opening remarks. If this week's episode that we're about to discuss had anything to say what the next 3 is going to be like, it's going to be a roller coaster. So we'll leave it at that. The other big announcement for May 4th is there's going to be a new documentary series that's going to be launching. It's going to be an 8-part documentary series called Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian. This will also be on Disney Plus, 8 episodes, and it's going to take a look at the behind-the-scenes processes of creating season 1 of The Mandalorian. This is very intriguing. I'm really looking forward to this series to see what all went into making that incredible first season. David, what did you think of these two announcements?
Oh, it's incredible. You know, you and I are always looking ahead on the episodes, and you know, you and I try to plan out, you know, when we're going to record and all that, and we figured it'd be May the 8th, and I always kind of thought, well, why wouldn't they bump it back? And so I thought it was really good that they did that. It's so appropriate, and it's kind of interesting because, you know, the next day is Revenge of the Fifth, and I think a lot of people are planning on watching Revenge of the Sith on that day, you know, the day after the 4th. And it leads perfectly from then to Clone Wars right into episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This Mandalorian series, we've all of us, diehards, love the behind the scenes stuff. We love all the extras on the movies when they come out, and same thing here when they, people can go to StarWars.com and get a longer list of like what each episode's going to cover. But I mean, you and I know how cool it was a year ago right now, right, last April, when they had some behind the scenes stuff that Favreau and Filoni released or showed, the crowd there at Star Wars Celebration. And those are really neat. So I'm guessing they're going to show more of that kind of stuff, but, not just ships, but creatures and how the actors brought their characters to life. So, Star Wars fans are going to eat this up. And it comes at a perfect time as the Clone Wars comes to an end.
Exactly. It comes as the Clone Wars are ending. That'll cute. Like I said, it's supposed to be an 8-part series, so I assume they're going to be releasing it over the next 8 weeks after that. So May and June. So it gets us 2 months closer to the return of season 2 of The Mandalorian, which is supposed to come out in October. And one thing I just really hope I get to see in this documentary, and I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there, I want to see the puppet. I want to see the child puppet. And I want to see this puppeteer that gets to... I would really laugh if behind the scenes it actually exposes the fact that it's Frank Oz doing this puppet.
Oh, jeez.
It would just be fitting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, it'd be so wild, if it was. But weren't you telling me the price tag on this animatronic puppet that is the child?
$5 million is what I heard.
I mean, it's staggering.
$5 million. I can't fathom.
No, I was gonna say, don't drop it. They, do you remember at StarWars.com, they've done a running blog of, posts done by Jon Favreau and other people. And didn't he post a picture of George holding the child?
Yes, he did. There is a picture of George holding the child puppet. So, that was a great picture to see too.
Yeah, I mean, and so when you mentioned that, I would love to see more of that, of maybe them, if they had some video cameras rolling and having Favreau, just listening to him and George talk about the child. That'd be pretty neat. That'd be really neat.
Oh, it'd be super neat. And not to, and something else to build off the Mandalorian conversation. I read right before we started recording, Variety, the Hollywood magazine Variety, is reporting season 3 is already in the works.
Oh my! Really? Oh,
yes. It's crazy to think that they would already be working on season 3 and season 2's not even out yet.
Yeah.
So,
well, you and I know it's for Disney Plus, it was such a big hit, and thankfully so. Like anything, does something bomb? Is it well loved? And clearly, this wasn't just well loved; it became a phenomenon. It is when, and you and I have talked about this before, when it's something that not just diehard Star Wars fans are talking about. Everyone was talking about it. Everybody I knew who they don't even know May the 4th. And they're like, oh, have you seen the child, Dave? I'm like, yeah, I have. I have. I kind of, Aaron and I covered this stuff. So, it's exciting when you see everyone get involved. So it is an absolute phenomenon. It's not just a hit show. It's a phenomenon.
Oh, it truly is. And it's going to be a show that's going to be around for a long, long time. This is such a great show. This is going to be, this is going to be so much fun. I hope this does get confirmed as true. I just figured I wanted to throw that out there because Variety's pretty reputable, and They've done some great job breaking other news stories. So I figured I'd throw that out there as well. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Now, in some sadder news, it was also announced this week that the massive event known as San Diego Comic-Con has been canceled due to the restrictions and the dangers of the coronavirus. So we won't be having any San Diego Comic-Con goodness come out, like, a trailer for a new show or anything. Like they snuck Clone Wars in on us there. But they did announce they are going ahead and going forward with their plans for next year, and they're hoping everything is good so they can be back next year for Comic-Con 2021. So no San Diego Comic-Con. That kind of, honestly, I was not surprised by this. Were you, David?
No, I mean, it's typically in August. Is it July? August, San Diego Comic-Con. You got to
July, I believe.
July. Okay. Well, you and I have been talking, how far is stuff, in fact, I was talking to someone earlier tonight about just looking ahead, not just at big conventions, but I know this isn't Star Wars related, but I was thinking about, baseball stadiums all summer long. Are people going to go in them starting this fall in September? Are people going to go to football stadiums? You and I live in the Southeast, and there's some of the largest football stadiums in our country are here that hold 80, 90, 100,000 people. And, are people going to go to those on Saturdays? Then on Sundays, are people going to go to pro football stadiums? So, and I was already looking ahead at that, like September, October, November, December, not just, in the summer. And so this obviously leads to the next logical question is, with San Diego Comic-Con being in July, Star Wars Celebration being in August. Of course, it was in April last year. If it was this year, Celebration would have been canceled. But, will that be canceled at the end of August? I don't know. I guess it's up in the air right now. But it's sad. It is sad. And I do wonder, again, and of course, Aaron, we've talked about, I'm a clinical psychologist, so human behavior is fascinating to me. How will this affect conventions going forward? I mean, one of the things I always remember hearing, Star Wars fans and Marvel fans and Batman, DC, everything, is what would they talk about at New York Comic-Con or San Diego Comic-Con? They'd always talk about avoiding the con crud. That's always been there. But with this, I'm curious if they're going to really restrict the numbers on these things. So a lot's going to change, not just now, but in the years to come.
Yeah, it truly is. And like I said, we're just kind of waiting to see what happens with Celebration. San Diego Comic-Con was supposed to be July 23rd through 26th, so almost a month to the day ahead of Celebration starting. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because you would think a month is a month, but a full month is still a month. But the fact that things are dropping like flies when it comes to these types of shows.
Yeah, well, and
we'll see what happens.
Well, right, and keep in mind, Aaron, right? San Diego or Anaheim, they're in the same state. They're only a couple hours apart there in the state of California. So that doesn't look good for a Celebration, but you never know. No, you never do know. So it'll be interesting to see. And if, like I said before, if we hear something, you will hear it from us as well as soon as we hear it. So we'll see what happens. So we do got some other news, though. I mean, this is, even though San Diego Comic-Con is canceling because of coronavirus, Igloo Coolers is actually running a special. They were actually doing, and it actually ended, unfortunately, yesterday. I hate that, too. But it was a really cool special they were doing,
where 100% of their proceeds were going to a coronavirus charity. And they got a whole line of Star Wars coolers. Did you know that, David?
I did not. Not even. I didn't even